He was a billionaire, powerful, rude, used to the world bowing to him. He yelled at her, a simple Russian waitress, and she didn't respond with rudeness. She didn't humiliate herself. She just said one thing, and a shocking, prolonged silence fell in the room. This is a story of dignity. A story about how even the richest person may not realize the most important and obvious. Write in the comments what city or country you are from. Support the video with a like and a subscription. This story will change your perception of people. Katya wakes up in a small one-room apartment. A shabby kitchen, a kettle with scale, a cat lying curled up on the radiator. Outside the window there's a grey foggy haze and traffic jams. On the table is a calendar with notes. Rent payment, send money to mom, shift from 10 kiranas to 23 tisach. Katya brews tea in a cracked glass. She puts a simple silver cross on her neck. She's 27. She's originally from Nizhny. She moved to Moscow for work. Her mother is sick. Her father left when she was 10. She doesn't complain. She just lives. She just hangs on. It's windy outside. She's walking to the metro, turning her umbrella inside out. In the restaurant, she's handing over her shift. She puts on an apron. She smiles as best she can, without falsehood. Restaurant veranda lounge. Panoramic windows, candles on the tables. A saxophonist plays in the corner. Black marble floors are slippery from cleanliness, smells, grilled salmon, vanilla ice cream with mint. Katya is setting out the glasses. The manager comes up to her. Katya, we have a guest now, a special one, Alexander Cole, billionaire. The most capricious client. Can you take his table? Sure, if he is like that, then it is even more necessary to be restrained. The door swings open. A tall man in a coat, escorts, sits down by the window, doesn't even look at the menu. Katya comes up. Good evening, what would you like to order? Veal tenderloin, and let it be quick. Katya calmly composed the order, but then she decided to clarify some, as it seemed to her, important details. There are nuts in the side dish. Are you allergic to them? He looks up. Are you a doctor? Who gave you the right to pester me with questions? Bring me what you ordered and shut your mouth. The hall freezes. Katya doesn't flinch. She looks straight ahead. Try to talk like a human being. It's not difficult, you know. She turns and leaves. In the utility room, she nervously takes off her apron. She sits down. She is silent. A colleague asks, "Are you okay?" "Take over for me. I don't want to see him. It's raining at home." She's sitting by the window. The TV is off. Water is boiling in the kettle. There's a photo on the wall. She's with her mother in the village. I wasn't rude. I just didn't keep quiet. Night. Loft in the center of Moscow. Panoramic windows. Jazz on the speakers. Alexander looks out the window, irritated, but not out of anger. He replays the scene. Her voice. Her eyes. Finally he breaks down and tells his assistant, "Find her name, send flowers, right, you're right." The next morning, Katya opens the restaurant. At that moment, a courier arrives with a bouquet of white lilies and a note. At first she wanted to refuse the bouquet, but decided to accept them anyway. She puts the flowers in the utility room. In the evening the house is quiet. Lilies. The light bulb swings, she whispers. And why all this? 2 days later, Alexander comes again, alone, without security. He sits by the window and stares at Katya, waits for her to free herself. "Can we talk? Just a little." "You're not used to talking, only giving orders." "Exactly. I haven't talked for a long time, and you reminded me." He hands over a piece of paper. "I have a company. I need people who can still feel. I'm not asking. Just think about it. If you decide, come." Metro, empty carriage. In her hands is a piece of paper with an address. At home, she stands on the balcony for a long time, lost in thought. At that moment, the phone rang. Mom is calling. "Katyusha, are you okay?" "I don't know, Mom. I have a feeling that something will start tomorrow, or end. I haven't figured it out yet. Bus, a bunch of transfers, business center. The past service doesn't believe it. She goes up in the elevator." In the reflection, simple, without makeup, but proud, her hair, as usual, gathered in a bun. On the floor, she approached the girl at the counter, introduced herself, and handed her a piece of paper with her data. The assistant calmly stood up and asked her to follow her. Approaching one of the offices, she asked if she needed anything else. Katya answered hesitantly, "No," shrugging her shoulders. Katya slowly raised her eyes. There was a sign on the door, "Vorontsova Ekaterina, temporary advisor on internal processes." "What is this? I don't understand anything about processes," thought Katya. "I'm just a waitress. However, what do I have to lose?" The office is a noisy crowd. Everyone speaks corporate language. At lunchtime, it's the canteen. No one says hello, phones in hand, not an ounce of emotion on the face. This is not an office, this is a beehive. But bees don't talk to each other. After some time, having slightly delved into and sorted out some details, Katya begins to notice that the deputy director, a certain Hul, is hiding something. Katya notices various signatures. Some projects are being delayed. She goes to Alexander and tells him directly, "Check the actions of Mr. Hul. Something doesn't add up in the numbers, and the partners are complaining." Alexander launches an investigation. It turns out that Howell transferred money to shell companies. Scandal and dismissal. That evening, he looked at Katya. "Do you want to stay? Not temporarily. Do you really think I'm right for you? You're not afraid to speak, and you know how to feel. That's half the battle." Katya stays. She creates a feedback department. They listen to her. Her ideas are implemented. The team becomes alive. Late one evening, she discusses working conditions with the workers. Alexander watches. "You're not just changing the company, you're changing me. The roof of the building, Moscow, lights, wind." He offers a blanket. "You know, when you told me that in the restaurant, it was like a blow, but an honest one. You didn't shout, you just spoke, like a human being." "You're not the first one who can't speak like a human being," said Katya. "But you're the first one who tried to learn." Katya is going home on the bus. In her hands is an ID, head of internal company culture. In the evening, tea, the same cat, the same room, only it is different. She earns quite well and can now afford to move to another place. She puts the mug on the windowsill, sits down next to it and looks out into the darkness. Moscow no longer seems so hostile to her. Somewhere below, cars rustle, windows of neighboring houses blink, and all this no longer presses, it simply exists nearby. On the phone are unread messages from colleagues. Someone asks for advice, someone thanks. Someone simply writes, "Thank you for being with us." Katya smiles, slightly, truly, and for the first time in a long time she feels that she is in her place. She takes out a notebook. She writes on a blank sheet of paper, "Listening is an action. Seeing is a skill. Being human is a choice." There is snow outside the window. It falls on the roofs, the lamps, the passers-by, slowly, softly, as if everything has come into balance. Katya hugs the notebook to her chest and whispers, "Thank you, life, for the opportunity to help others." At this moment, in another part of the city, Alexander Cole is sitting in his loft, and instead of the usual fatigue, he feels light, quiet, internal, like in her eyes then. That very evening. And then there was silence again. 6 months have passed, a lot has changed in the office. Katya conducts internal trainings. People began to smile more often, to greet each other. Closed doors have disappeared. Employees discuss not only tasks, but also ideas. She did not become a boss. She became a center to which people are drawn. Alexander attends fewer meetings, but he comes to each one in person, not with security. Not with speeches, but with questions. He listens, he changes. At a corporate meeting, he comes out to the people and says, 6 months ago, I was sure that I controlled everything. But until you learn to listen and sincerely understand the world around you, you don't even control yourself. Katya showed me this, and I am grateful to her for this. A few days later, they go into the same restaurant together. The saxophonist plays the same melody. In the room, everything seems the same, but inside both of them, everything is different. Everything is the same here, says Katya. Except you, he replies. You have now become my center. And you have now learned humanity, Katya said, smiling slightly. They sit in silence, not because they have nothing to say, but because sometimes silence says more. Do you remember then? I remember. That's when it all started. The saxophone struck that same note again, as if picking up their silent conversation. The waitress brought 2 teas. One was green, the way Katya liked it, the other was black with bergamot. He remembered. They sat watching the winter rush past the glass. Snowflakes stuck to the window, the city moved, but they had nowhere to rush. Alexander looks at her. You know, I would like you not to be my assistant. Katya looks up in surprise. And I want you to be my partner, an equal. Katya is silent for a long time. Then she says, I never wanted to go up, I just didn't want to go down. He smiles, wordlessly, and that's enough. Outside, passers-by hurry, unaware that behind the glass of an ordinary restaurant something is being born that cannot be bought for millions or connections. Mutual respect, silence, and a new look at the person next to you. On their way out of the restaurant, they paused briefly at the door. Passers-by walked past, not recognizing them, not stopping. They no longer needed attention, not publicity, not a demonstration. Just the feeling that there was a person nearby who understood you. Are you meeting with social funds tomorrow? Katya asked, adjusting the collar of her coat. Yes, I'm thinking of investing in programs to support graduates of orphanages. I want them to have a chance too, like I have, with you. Katya stopped and looked straight ahead. Not with me, but thanks to yourself. You chose to listen. It's rare, even among those born in love. He nodded, without pathos. As adults do when they no longer need to prove anything. That evening they went their separate ways, without promises, without plans, but with silence in their hearts, that same honest one. And in that silence there was more than in all the loud speeches.